everybody. How's everybody doing on this fine Tuesday morning? It is sunny and it is warm out here in Central Florida. It's time to continue work on the Pac-Man electric guitar. I was able to put some body filler last night, and as you can see on the back, I put a bunch, but it's gonna look really good. So, alright, these are the tools I'm gonna use. I'm gonna try some of these sanding varieties of sanding blocks, and then I've got a little bit of sandpaper, and I'm gonna have to go to the store and get some fresh sandpaper with some low grit sandpaper. Get this nice and smooth. Alright, we're going to work on getting this kind of smooth, and then the next stage will be actually putting the wood filler on there, or the ugly stage as I call it. But alright, we'll see you in a little while. Alright, another quick update. The body filler phase is completed. It's looking amazing. Big difference, yeah. Filled all the medium to large, even the smaller size voids in the body, as you can see. Especially in the back. I had to use a lot back there because the plywood, you know, is, yeah, it is what it is. It's full of varying degrees of valleys and dips and everything, and all these smaller ones I'm getting ready to fill in. Okay, now it's time for what I call the ugly vase. And as you've seen in many of my other builds, what I like to do on this particular stage is I use the plastic wood all-purpose body filler. I got a brand new batch. And what I'll do is I'll mix up a batch to where I'll dilute it with water and then start applying layers on the body of the guitar, and then once that cures, you sand it and it makes it really perfectly smooth. And then after that, you do the bonding filler spray paint, and it'll bond all of that together and make it perfect. Alright, and we'll see you in a little bit. I got me a good batch mixed up, pretty good consistency, and like I've done many videos before, I'm going to take my fan brushes and start applying light coats, and then I'll do multiple layers. I'll probably first start on the side, then after that I'm going to concentrate on the back first, since how the back was the most in need of filler. Alright, and we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, another quick update. The first layer of body filler has been put on the back side of the guitar. It's looking sweet. See, this is where all that prep work with all the body filler definitely comes into play, because you see how it's already looks generally flat. There are no like really big voids, but yeah, it looks pretty cool. Alright, we're gonna let this dry, and we're probably gonna put about 2 or 3, 4 more coats on there, and we'll see you next step. Alright. Getting hot out here. Alright, more quick update. Looking pretty good. Got several coats on there. Gonna let this dry. Got my mess cleaned up a little bit. Let this dry for a little while, and then we'll see in a little bit for some more coats, and then we'll start on the front. Alright, see you in a little bit. Alright, another quick update on the Pac-Man electric guitar build. Got the first coat of body filler on the top of the guitar. And it is looking sweet. Yeah, I like when this is my favorite part of the build, because you take something that's rough and different colors and kind of combine it to make it one. I mean, this is definitely the ugly phase, because it really gets kind of ugly when the wood filler dries. It's wrinkly and creased, but when you sand it and make it all smooth and perfect, that's when it just comes in together. So, alright, I'm going to put a few more coats on there, and we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, another quick update. I got all the wood filler applied, and now we're going to let this dry for probably a couple hours, so it's nice and firm. I just applied the last coat, and it's already starting to dry. You can see it changes color slightly. But yeah, this is going so good. This is, I think it's probably like about 2:30, 3 o'clock maybe, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We might be able to actually sand this and maybe even get some primer paint on this today. I'm not sure if we'll get to that step or not, because after this cures, I'll have to sand it and fine sand it and blow it off and make sure it's nice and perfect, and then put the bonding primer on it. It's going to be pretty cool. And then let that cure for a couple days, and then we can do some black around the edges once we get it good, and then black on the neck joint bits. And you know, I was thinking I can paint this inside, and I'd rather paint after the yellow as opposed to painting that, taping it, and then having to deal with that. So what I'm going to do, though, to make the binding effect, once I get the primer and all that sanded and everything good, I'm going to spray the the black on the ends, and then I'll tape that off, and then when I do the yellow, then I'll pull the tape, and then there will be yellow, black binding on the yellow paint. So that'd be cool. Alright, so let's let this cure for a little while, and we'll see you today. Maybe we'll get to the sanding and the other parts. If not, it'll be alright. Alright, we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, another final update for today. I just finished painting the pickup cover and the pickup, so it looks pretty cool. So I wanted to spray paint this way early, that way it gives it plenty of time to cure. So yeah, that's going to be cool. And that's what the color of the guitar is going to be, that bright yellow. Pac-Man yellow. Alright, hope everybody has a good night, and we'll see you either later on this afternoon, or we'll see you tomorrow to continue on. Alright, we'll see you soon. Alright, good afternoon everybody. I've got guitar fever today. It's still Tuesday afternoon, and let me show you the Ugly Vase. I'm going to do some sanding and smooth it all out. I just wanted to show you in detail how ugly it looks. How, you know, like I always say, I call this the Ugly Vase because it's ugly. I mean, look at that, the body filler, or the wood grain filler. It's definitely ugly, but here's the tools I'm going to use. I've got 320 in a roll. I've got some 80 on my little things. I got some blocks. I got a little hand sander from Home Depot or Lowe's. So we're going to make this smooth and try to get it as perfect as possible. Try to get on hanger and put some primer coats on this thing today. I'm kind of gung-ho. Alright, we'll see everybody in a little bit. Alright, another quick update. Yeah, I did get a lot of progress done. Look at that. That is just awesome. Goes from the ugly face to the beautiful face. Yeah. Got a little bit more to do in the wee bits there, inside there, and sanding it. But I got the primer ready, and I think we're going to be able to get some primer on this today. We still got, it's about 3:30, 4 o'clock, so we still got a few hours left of sunlight. So this is going to be cool. Let me show you how it looks before I finish it up. I might do another quick video clip, but you can see the difference. See how smooth and how everything just really comes together. So yeah, pretty awesome. Let's see if I can get the light angle to show you right on the angle. When it catches the light, you can see just what we're working with. I don't think the sun's in the right position. Yeah, so let me get a few more, a little bit more on here. I gotta, you know, clean up and sand all in the neck pocket there. And yeah, it's looking good. Progress is going good. This is the primer we're gonna use this time. The bonding primer, not the filler primer. Filler primer has those little ball things that tend to gum up, and then you have to do more sanding after the fact, which I'll probably do more sanding when this is cured, but I think it'll look good. So okay, alright, it's going good, so we'll see in a little while. Alright, it is that time. It is time to put some bonding primer on this bad boy. Yeah, it's looking good. Spent a good and decent amount of time sanding and making sure everything was perfect, and I blew it off and blow it off again. And I got my clock out. Every 10 minutes I'm putting another coat. I put about 3-4 coats of bonding primer on there. This right here, Rust-Oleum. Good stuff, good stuff. Alright, just wanted to show you what it looks like before. I had to alter my brand new stand, or my brand new hanger, to accommodate for the V. But it's looking pretty good. Alright. Next time you see it, it's gonna be white, one coat of white. Alright, we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, fingers crossed. Alright, quick update. Got the filler primer sprayed on. It's looking pretty good. There's a couple spots that are vanished now, but there was a couple spots that I had to address, and they disappeared. Yeah, the good thing about this bonding primer is after a couple minutes, actually 5 minutes or so, it's dry enough that you can actually sand it between coats. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah, as you can see, it looks pretty good. Yeah. And I'll sand this too before I go to the base coats. You know, because I always try to get the most perfect finish. So, but yeah, as you can see, there's a spot right there it'll address. But I think once I sand that, once it fully cures, it'll be good. But yeah, there we go. Let me see if I can get some better angles, because the sun, kind of, there we go. It's a little bit awkward to hold, but yeah. Let's see. I try to get back on the hanger before I can't move it anymore. But yeah. Alright, that concludes today's progress on the Pac-Man electric guitar build. And we'll continue with it tomorrow, where we'll sand it and possibly do some black, you know. Yeah, I'm gonna sand it. No sense in rushing, there's no hurry, because I could always do some of the black bits now, but I'll wait till this cures. No sense in rushing it, because maybe I'll go another can of bonding primer on there just to make it even more smooth. But alright, I hope everybody has a good night, and saying good night from Brian Pan Raglan Guitars. Everybody see you, have a good day. Here you go, real quick. I just wanted to swing it around and get a better camera angle from the front. It seems like the light's a little better. Well, it's a little spotty out here because of the tree. But just wanted to show you again. That's the primer coats. Can't wait till this is black and bright yellow. But there we go. Yeah, it's looking good. And all this I'll sand, like I said. And yeah, I might even like to go with another can of the same thing, the bonding primer. It's only like $7, and it would just fill in all the imperfections. You know, I'll wait a day or two, so then I can always be working on the neck and the Ninja Star guitar. So, all right, and see, I didn't put anything underneath there, so because that's where the birch is going to go. So you see where it would have been. So, all right, we'll see you later. I thought I'd do just one more last update video of the primer, just from the inside. It's got better light, of course, because outside it was a little patchy. But yeah, as you can see, how well the finish turned out. And like I said, I'm still going to sand on this more, so it turned out pretty cool. Alright. It's awesome. That's where every guitar I do is just such a gratifying thing, to create something just from a drawing. Started from that drawing. I remember that was the bigger one, and I had to make it smaller because that was actually the first attempt at the drawing. So alright, and I can't wait to do the Miss Pac-Man guitar. That's going to be awesome, because it's going to have the bow and the lipstick and the dimple. This is going to be really cool. But alright, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. Alright, beautiful morning here in Central Florida. The sun is definitely out. Wow. Feels good out here. Okay, so plan today. Going to sand this as perfect as possible with my 320 grit sandpaper. And then we're going to apply some black over the edges here, and then the parts that connect the neck. And I was thinking about doing a little bit of black inside the access panel and inside here. I'm going to retouch it up paint when, well, yeah, extra layers, retouch it up when I do the yellow. Alright, that's the plan for this today, and then we're going to do some fret work today. Work on the frets, get all the frets leveled, crowned, and polished, and then shape the headstock, and then start working the headstock and everything, and then getting everything completely finished on the headstock, and then painting the headstock the last thing. So, alright, we'll see you in a sec. When I start doing, we'll see you. Alright, got her nice and sanded. Now ready to get some black border paint. I got 3 partial cans of Krylon, or not Krylon, but Rust-Oleum black gloss paint, and I'm going to, what the plan is on the front about, you know, an half inch or so on the front sections, and then on the sides, and same thing on the back, and then all of where the neck pocket is I'm going to paint black. So all this whole chunk inside and there, nothing about doing a little black inside there, and then same thing with the other side, but definitely around all the edges. That way when I go to paint the yellow paint, I'll tape off the border, and then tape off the border, and then peel it off. Alright, we'll see when we get some black on there. See you in a little bit. Alright, maybe we should call this the ugly pink vase. The black border. Got the first coat on there. Probably put another coat or so. Alright, we'll see in a little bit. Alright, how's everybody doing? Move the process on the inside. It's time to get the neck ready while the body is curing. Just got finished doing the border paint black. So we're getting ready to level, crown, and polish the frets. I'm going to be replacing the nut with a white good nut on this one. And I figured I'd do the fretwork first. Got my fret end file, all my good tools. I do the sandpaper technique as far as the rounding over and polishing. I'm starting with 600 to 800 to 1,000 to 2,000 to 2,500, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 7,000, 8,000, and finally at 10,000 grit paint sandpaper. My leveling beam has 320 grit with the sticky on the one side. I've got my fret end file from StuMac. I've got my two Z files from centered Z files from StuMac as well. I got all my good tools. I got my tape, I got my rocker arm, I got my Sharpie, I got my leveling beam. Okay, so first step as always, as you've seen prior builds, is to adjust the neck and make sure the neck is completely straight. Then once I'll do that, then I'll tape it all off, and I'll go through it briefly, the steps. I'll show you a couple seconds from each process. Seeing as how I constantly show this step, and I don't want to bore anybody with the same. It's always the same, just getting the frets level and playing good. But okay, we'll see you next step. And just real quick, I've got this ritual. Every time I do fret work, I'm always watching this movie on TV. 2010, the year we made contact. I mean, it's always playing in the background when I'm showing you all these different, but I mute it because I don't want copyright or anything like that. But yeah, it's pretty funny. I'm watching this while I'm doing the fretwork. But anyway, quick little fun fact. All right, we'll see you in a sec. All right, quick update. Got the fretboard all adjusted perfectly flat, and I got it taped up. Now I'm getting ready to mark it with my Sharpie blade. And we'll see you in a sec. Alright, got all the frets marked off. Alright, now I'm going to take my leveling beam and we're going to level all the frets to each other. Alright, all the frets are leveled. Yeah, I had to take off quite a bit of materials right here. These frets were definitely higher than the ones over here. But alright, they're still looking pretty good. Alright, I'm going to clean this off and then remark them. We'll be right back. Alright, all the frets are perfectly crowned and looking great. You can see that little black line is what's left over from the crowning process. Alright, so let me round over and polish with my grits of sandpaper, and we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, all the frets have been rounded and polished, looking pretty good. Let me take off this tape and we'll see you in a sec. Alright, looks pretty good. All the frets have been rounded and polished. Just want to show you how good the rounding and the polishing is. Yeah, that's amazing. Alright, so another thing too, let me throw this at you. I was gonna normally, in an earlier video, I had two options for the truss rod cover, and I was going to put my logo on the truss rod cover itself to be able to name this guitar, that that I built it. But I was looking, and on the original guitar, the the power pellet was a little bit closer to the nut than would be able to with this configuration of this channel. And I was looking, I can use, it's a standard pretty much Allen key to adjust. And see, I drew the line to where I could stop a channel. And, I might fill that in and actually not use a truss rod cover, maybe round this over just a little bit and then make a circular, because I'm going to make the power pellet, and actually I'm going to raise the power pellet a little bit, and I'm going to do like I did on the Prince cymbal guitar. I don't know if you've watched that build, but if you didn't, the tuning pegs I got, like I said before, on this are going to be like the classical instrument tuning pegs, where you tune, you put them through, but they actually tune from the back. I'll show you that when I get to that step today. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this like a V-configured for the tuning pegs, kind of like a, here's my V's. See how the tuning pegs start at the wider and then go shallower or narrower towards the top? So I was thinking about doing that. That's the way it is on the original Pac-Man guitar that I'm copying this guitar from. Like two tuning pegs here, two tuning pegs here, and then two tuning pegs here. And that would make the string break angle perfect. And there would be no stability issues with the nut. Not that there would be, but it looked pretty cool. As opposed to staggering them to follow the circle. Okay, so, and then what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to raise it. I looked at the tuning pegs, and there's enough room to where I'm going to raise it. I'm going to cut, or maybe I was getting too ahead of myself here. Maybe I should show you when I'm actually doing it. But I'm going to cut this straight. See how it's on an angle now? Cut it straight, so it's like that on both sides, and then start the power pellet here. And I got to figure out the exact dimension of the circle. And then when I do that, I'm going to take body filler. I'm going to take a plastic, or I'm going to cut me out a cardboard form, and with a circle. And I'm actually going to raise it with body filler, and I'm going to put a layer of body filler over the top. So the power pellet's going to come up from the neck about this far, but the tuning pegs I'm going to leave at this shallow depth. So I'm going to take, I've got these washer things I'm going to place in there when I put the body filler, so the tuning pegs will actually be countersunk, and it'll look really cool. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to paint it all white, of course. And the power pellet's going to be white, and then I might do some shading around the the edges like it is. And then of course I'm going to put the dots. I'm going to paint the dots on the fretboard, and then this fretboard in the back is going to be painted black all the way up to the fretboard. I'm not going to paint the fretboard this time. I'm just going to paint up to the edge of the fretboard. And I do have some black wood dye that I could dye this fretboard, but I think that's dark enough to where it's not going to really be that big a deal. But the black is going to look really cool. And then this part will be black, and then it'll be black all on the back. But the the power pellet's going to be white, and so will the dots be white. But then I'm thinking about doing the power pellet. Well, we'll get to that point. Alright, so the next step is going to be to get my fret end file. And I'm going to round all the frets and make all the burrs. There's none now, but I mean, well, there's a few here and there. But I'm just going to round them, make them really pretty. First get cleaned up, and then we'll do that step, and we'll see in a sec. Alright, all the fret ends have been rounded, and they are looking pretty sweet. Alright, next step is going to be to replace the nut. So I'll tap this nut off, and the easiest way to do that is just get something and just tap it off. Usually they're not on there that well, so it'll just pop right off. And then I'll get the other nut, and then we'll shape it, and we'll be right back. Alright, tapped off the nut, and I'll just get the X-Acto blade out, and I'll clean up the edges here, and then we'll get the new nut and cue it up. Alright, we'll be right back. Okay, quick update. I do have the new nut, and this is basically going to be the nut, I'm sorry, right there. But I decided it's probably better to space out where the power button is going to go before I install the nut. That way I can install the nut and it'll line up perfectly with everything. So I got the lines drawn on where I want that. So let me go find something that I can trace that I'm going to use for the power button size. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, I think I found the shape I'm going to use. I actually have a bowl, one of the kitchen bowls. And I think I'm going to use that as the reference of how big the circle is going to be. So I'm actually going by the picture there, and see, that's where I'm going to put the tuners. And I brought the tuners. See, these are the tuners that I'm going to use. See how you tune from behind, so it's going to be very cool. It's kind of like that. But unfortunately, these come 4 in a pack, and these are. I got these on Amazon. I think I paid like $12 each pack. So I mean, it's like 22 bucks. That's pretty cheap though. But yeah, there's 5 that come in a pack. I think the 5th one is extra. I'm not sure how they work with the classical instruments, but I got 2 packs of those. So, but anyway, I'm gonna draw out where I'm gonna do the neck. And let me actually glue this together before I do the nut. That way everything will be tied in perfectly. Alright, we'll see you in a second. Alright, I drawn out on the headstock itself what I'm gonna do, where I'm gonna cut. And it looks pretty cool. And then I drew out a blank so I can put that on top, and then I can figure out what extra pieces I need for the headstock. I've got headstock material, extra headstock material, so I'll use that to fill in the extra pieces. Alright, we'll see you in a little while. Alright, here's my extra headstock materials. And I've taped this to the top, and then this way I drew the lines. You can see, and I'll cut them, and that way I know what pieces I'll need to make. And I might just use plywood for the top, since how it's not going to be stability, because I don't think I have the right size pieces. But I'll be able to get a 3/4 inch plywood, and I'll just connect those two sides fins. I'll go outside and cut that. Alright, we'll see you in a sec. Let me get all that squared away. Alright, we're outside. I got the scroll saw queued up, and I got an extra piece of the actual where I cut, I think the Ghostbuster guitar I cut. No, I cut the Pac-Man guitar out of this piece. Okay. And I got my two little bits, the top and the bottom bits. Then we're going to mark it out, we're going to cut it out, and we'll see you in a sec. Alright, got my two bits cut. Now I installed, or stuck on there a little extra backing, and now we're going to cut out the neck pocket, or the neck bits that we marked out. So fingers crossed on this one. This is a one shot or none go. Alright, I could always fix it though if I mess up anything. Alright, we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, cut the bits out, and it worked out perfectly. I'm gonna, on the left side it's just a hair a little fat, but I'm gonna get the files out and everything like that. But yeah, turned out pretty good. Alright, now it's time to, I'm gonna super glue the bits on the side, and I'll show you, they're a little thicker, but like I said, I'm going to put the body filler, so this actually works out, and it's going to use as a template. But alright, I think probably what I should do first is, before I glue these edges on, maybe I'll do the tuning key placement first. Yeah, I think that'd be probably best. Okay, we'll see you next step. Alright, got the headstock shaped so far perfectly. Alright, now it's time to install the nut, so that way I know where exactly the string to put the string, or the tuning pegs, because I'll line them up with where the slots and the nut are. Alright, let me shape the nut and we'll be right back. Alright, shape and install the nut. Looks good. Awesome. Alright, so now I'm going to figure out where the tuning pegs are going to go, so I'm going to mark that out, and we'll see you in a second. Alright, this is how I'm figuring out the spacing for the tuning pegs. This is how I came up with it as far as measurement goes. I'm just kind of doing it. I like the strings to come off the nut and go straight into the tuning keys, just like it is on the original guitar, so kind of like a V pattern in a way. And here are the tuners that I was telling you about. It's pretty cool. Tune from the back, and you know, they tie in just like a regular tuner would. But you tune, you turn, and it's got like a little nub there you have to put, and that's what holds it in the center there, so that's pretty cool. So what I measured, it's 6.5 inches, and I went right in the center, and then I marked a line, and then 1.5 inches up and 1.5 inches down, marked a line, and then I drew the strings where they're going to come off the nut straight through the headstock. So that's how I figured, and I figured when I drew the circles, I drew it just a little bit over, because you know, when it goes through the hole, it's going to catch it just a little bit to the, you know, the center. So it's going to be awesome. So that's where I'm going to do it. I'm going to mark my X's, and then I'm going to do pilot holes with a smaller bit, and then I'm going to drill the regular size bit, and if I need to bore it out, I have my other stuff. So yeah, so let me put a couple holes in here and let's see how it goes. I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, got my pilot holes drilled. Looks pretty centered. Looks pretty centered to me. I hope it looks centered. It should look centered. Okay, now let me change bits on the drill and then get the bigger bit. Alright, we'll put some holes. Alright, see you in a bit. Alright, got the holes drilled out. I still haven't checked the tuners yet, but got a little bit of tear away on that one, but it should be fine. I can fix it easy. That's what happens when you use the drill bit like that. It just kind of, and this neck wood is a little bit softer than usual. So, all right, let me check the tuning keys and get a couple maybe installed, and we'll see in a second. All right, installed the tuning keys. It looks pretty killer. All right, that's awesome. I got the Bondo wood filler, so I'll fill any like tear away. And I'll fill this in, make that shorter to the line, and leave that, you know, maybe sand that down a little bit, leave it exposed. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And they too, and the top two are a little close, and man, it shouldn't be cause a problem though. I mean, but yeah. All right, let me attach the side pieces, and we'll be right back. All right, see you in a little bit. All right, got the side pieces attached. Looks pretty cool. I'm gonna sand this down in the back and make it flush, and then the top I'm gonna fill that in with wood filler, and then countersink the holes for the tuning keys. Hopefully there'll be enough room there. I'm not sure, because it is pretty shallow with the tuning keys already, and I don't want it to dig into the paint. We'll figure it out. All right, we'll see you next step. We'll see you in a bit. Say what? What? You want some nuts? You want nuts? Oh. Anyway, got some beggars on the porch here. All right, so that's pretty cool. Got the tuning pegs drilled out. Got the sides on there. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut a little sliver, and I'm going to put like a barricade, like a bracket on there. Same thing with the top, and then I'm going to fill it in with a Bondo body filler, and I'm going to countersink like I've done before with the Prince cymbal guitar. I'm going to put that on there and put some lubricant on there so the Bondo doesn't fix to it, and it's going to make it, and you know, opening. It's gonna, you're gonna see it's really cool. And then I'll fill that with Bondo. Same thing on the back, and I've got the bigger one, and I'll have that in there like so, and so it'll be countersunk with that. And then I'll also cut a lip with that, and then fill that with body filler. It's gonna be really cool. All right, we'll see you next step. All right, quick progress on the body filler on the headstock. Yeah, trust me, it'll look really good when I'm done. I'll refine. This is kind of the ugly part of it, but yeah, you can see the basic idea. I put a little ball of gel around the wrench nut, that way it doesn't stick to it, and when it sets I'll pull it off, and then I do all of them, and then I'll sand this flat, and then I'll sand it smooth, and it'll look perfect. And I got to do the same thing on the opposite side. But yeah, just a little progress. Alright, we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, another quick update. Refining the smaller points. Just working on the top. I still got to do the bottom, of course, but the bottom's going to be the same way. But yeah, you can see how it's what I'm going for right there. And I'll do the sides. When it's painting, it'll look perfect. Like I said, I'm painting the back of the neck black, and then the top of the button, power button's going to be white, of course, and then big dots along the fretboard, of course. But yeah, that's what we're going for. You can see how it's countersunk, like I mentioned earlier. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Alright, we'll see you when I get some more progress done. Alright, see you in a little while. Alright, how's everybody doing? This will conclude today's progress on the Pac-Man electric guitar build. I got the top section completed. It's getting kind of late, and Tampa Bay is playing the 4th game in the Stanley Cup playoffs is tonight. See, I gotta do the back tomorrow, but I'll do it the exact same way as I did the front. And yeah, it turned out cool. Of course, I'll dial it in and make it absolutely perfect. But yeah, that is pretty awesome. I think that's what I was going for. Yeah, looks pretty cool when I get the back done. And when I paint it, hopefully, you know, I'm gonna make it flawless before paint, and then when you go to paint it, it'll be just amazing. So yeah, there we go. That looks cool. That power dot. Pac-Man eats this, and he can go eat some ghosts. So, alright, I hope everybody has a good night. Been a long day. I've been at it pretty much all day. Alright, clean up my mess, and we will see everybody tomorrow. Have a good day. Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing this fine morning? It's Thursday. I'm not sure the exact date. It's the 23rd. 2022. Time to continue with the Pac-Man electric guitar build. Last night, when I was sulking in my disappointment in how the Tampa Bay Lightning lost the Colorado Avalanche, and they're down 3 games to 1 in the Stanley Cup playoffs, I was able to put some body filler on there. I'll be sanding it and making it smooth, and we'll see in a second how I'm going to get this going. Alright. Alright, another quick update. Done with the body filler. Let me show you how good it looks. Yeah, it turned out pretty awesome. That is the power dot. Alright, so what I'm probably going to do, just to make it even more perfect, just get some wood filler on there, just a couple thin layers, and around the side. I sanded the neck too, because I'm going to paint the back of the neck black and the back of the back of the headstock black, and then overspray, and then when that cures, I'll tape off and just do the top white, bright white. But there it goes. Let me get some body filler real quick and apply some body filler on there, and we'll see you next step. Alright, another quick update. I got the body filler on there, headstock, and it's looking good. The ugly phase for the headstock is commenced. Yeah, see how ugly. And when this cures, I'm gonna sand it perfectly. Yeah, you can see how ugly it is. But when it's sanded, as always, gonna be super smooth and perfect. And then we'll tape this bad boy up. And I already did the neck. I already sanded it pretty good. 320 grit sandpaper. Got rid of most of the little pore openings, unfinished neck. And we're gonna spray it gloss black. Alright, and we'll see in a little bit. I'll probably have to go to Walmart and pick up a new can, because I do have a couple cans, but I'm not sure how much is in there, and I don't want to run out. I want to make sure I coat it good. And you could always use black. Black is always good to have around on hand. Alright, we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, we are all taped off. We are all sanded. We are blowed off. And we are good to go for some black paint on this neck. Yeah, looks good. Alright, I'm going to go with the cans that I have. I've got like 5 cans of black paint with primer. So hopefully that should be enough to cover this little old neck. So we'll do that. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Alright, we'll see when it's over. No, just hope for the best. Alright, see you in a little bit. Alright, got the first coat of black on there. It's reacting just a little bit here, but I think if I put enough layers on there, it should be fine, but it's looking pretty cool. And I can always sand this paint and go back and touch it up, but yeah, it's looking alright. It looks cool, black. So, alright, fingers crossed. We'll let this flash off, and then we'll keep adding a few more coats and see how it goes. Worst case scenario, we can let it dry fully, sand it, and then paint it again. So, no big deal. Alright, we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, just a final update on the Pac-Man guitar build for today. Let me do it with the other hand. I was able to level out those imperfections, bubbling from the swell of the paint from the outdoors. And it's looking pretty good. Yeah, see, I can sand that and correct that. But overall, the neck turned out good. Yeah, it's going to look pretty cool. But alright, hope everybody's having a good night. Or a good day. And we will see you soon. Alright, we'll take it easy.